Hey everybody, good afternoon. Coach BK here with Braving Karma Coaching. So I've had it on my mind to do this video for a while. It's regarding change, navigating change, and hopefully navigating change with some grace. So for the last 10 years I've coined this expression, less road rash. So we go through change. And it happens. It can be less painful, you can have less road rash, it can be more efficient, easier, etc. So I wanted to do a two-part series on navigating change, because change is inevitable. That's how the world works. That's how things get better or higher in frequency or etc. Okay? Most philosophies, most religions, most things of faith all have this common background of raising up, higher, better, whatever. Take out the judgment, hopefully. Okay, so navigating change. In general, we all really struggle with change. I mean, seriously. We generally back away from change. We back away from fear. We try to fix feeling uncomfortable. And that's kind of the essence of looking at that and examining that to learn how to navigate change better. Less road rash. Change being a challenge or issues, struggles, something that you want to do, right? And it's interesting how, where we put ourselves in and the challenges that we come up on. And kind of one of my pet peeves, I want to throw this thought out there, is the Facebook posts that say, if it doesn't serve you, get rid of it. And the yoga world and a little bit of different thinking than Western world, sometimes the things that aren't serving you, that are making you uncomfortable, are what you really need to examine and look at in the mirror, because that's where the change is needed. Confrontation. Why does confrontation have to have a negative connotation? Facing things honestly, straight on. It's just how the world is, how things change. We need to learn how to do that with more grace and ease. Maybe not run over each other or etc. Accomplish what you need to do while positively affecting everybody else around you. So, fear of the unknown, fear of what's on the other side, fear of letting go of what we know. We are creatures of habit. That's kind of how we're wired to survive. Yet we have to evolve and change in order to raise up. Okay? Some of us, most of us, retreat into old habits. It's what we know. Mentally, emotionally. Heck, we do it in swimming too. We go work on our swim stuff for half a year, and then we get to a race and we revert back. It's under pressure, we go to what we know. So, in this part one of navigating change and challenges with more grace and less road rash, let's talk about why we don't speak our truth. Either speak it, write it, represent it, whatever that means. Why do we back down from truth? Because the truth is why we want to change. We need something different. In my yoga world, in my yoga training, you get this word that you resonate with. Mine is satya, meaning truth. And so looking in the mirror, that means I value speaking the truth, but it also probably means that I need to work on speaking more truth. Either how I'm feeling, etc., etc. So why do we not do that? And I came up with a list of why we back down from speaking our truth. And number one I wrote is afraid of hurting others. Self-explanatory, right? Afraid of hurting others. Which is slightly different than number two, but can be closely intertwined with number two, is being afraid of not people-pleasing. A lot of us are people pleasers. A lot of us are people pleasers because at the core we don't feel like we're good enough, so we feel like we have to please others so they like us, acknowledge us, because in our deepest part of ourselves we are lacking a little bit of I'm good enough, I'm completely fine. And that's the hard work right there. Number three, afraid of someone calling a BS card, right? Bullshit. Okay, so you're speaking your truth and we're sort of afraid that maybe we're a little off or whatever, and either they're not agreeing with us or we're putting something out there that we really believe in and we're afraid that someone's not going to acknowledge that and value what we value. Okay. Number four, afraid of not owning up. Be it a mistake that we made, or sometimes speaking our truth means that we have to look in the mirror and say hard stuff, and we're afraid of that for a lot of different reasons. Number five, afraid of confrontation, which brings up 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of them, part of them. Confrontation. This is a huge deal. We don't do confrontation right. Look at politics. Look at our family environment. Look at our country. Look at how we support each other. We are crappy at confrontation. We let fear and anger run away with our emotions. Confrontation, it's not a bad thing. It shouldn't have a negative connotation. It shouldn't be in your mind that it's okay to not ever have it. It's a thing. It's like light and dark. You have light, you have dark. You have copacetic moments, you have confrontation. It's just the balance of life. Worried, number 6. Worried that what's in our head is just cray-cray. Either we're different or whatever, and maybe that comes down to a little bit of that I'm not good enough inside, and so, what I'm actually feeling isn't good enough, or is weird or wrong, or blah, 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 and off goes the mind. 7, we don't value the other person's feelings. We're not very empathetic, or we value our feelings more. And I'm not saying that we need to go back to people pleasing and putting everybody first. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just saying when we don't speak our truth, what we value. Do we value other people's feelings? Do we acknowledge them? Do we take just a moment and actually put ourselves into their shoes on what we say, what we think, what we do, how we respond to something? Are we actually pausing for a moment? And this is like a listening skill to the nth degree. Are we actually trying to feel what they feel? Number 8, are we just plain overwhelmed and tired and we want life just to be a little bit easier? For reals. I mean, seriously. Life is busy and hard, and if you're listening to this, you do a lot of stuff, right? You have big goals and dreams, and you're trying to rip through life on fire, which is awesome, right? Okay. So, navigating change with grace and less road rash, part 1, takeaways. What in the world do we do? What can we do? Here's some thoughts of mine. 3 things. Hopefully you have a dream board or a vision board, or you are very clear on who you are. Hopefully you understand your purpose in life. My purpose in life is just to make a positive impact in the very next person that I see. Who you are should be on your dream board or your vision board, or the Franklin Covey. That very first part of Franklin Covey. What's your ethics? Who are you? That should be your foundation for navigating change. Okay? Those things don't change. Those pillars do not change. Shouldn't. If they're good enough, they never change. It's who you are. Number 2, dose. Focus on your goals. Again, back to the vision board and the dream board. I have lifelong goals. I have very clear on those. They're not like set in stone defined, but I have this idea of where I'm going in general, and I'm letting the universe guide me to where I'm going to end up. I'm very clear on my year goals. I'm very clear on my week goals. I'm very clear on 5-year goals. Spend some time writing down goals. Goals that make you cry. Goals that make you say, holy crap, what am I thinking? I can never do that. Those are the good, juicy goals. Athletics, family, career, etc. The goals. Focus on the goals. They need to be written down. They need to line up with number 1, with your ethics, who you are. Number 3, navigating change. Have a mentor. Okay? We are always constantly in a student-teacher role all the time. All the time. If we're paying attention, all the time we are helping somebody, but we're also being helped. If we are connected to what's going on, find a mentor. Sometimes your mentor changes. That's going to be part 2 on kind of some specifics on changing. Your mentor will change. Be okay with it. It's how the world works. Once you're done with that, you move on. It's not good or bad. It's just what it is. It's like, oh, I'm done with that shirt. Maybe. If it's your race shirt, you're never done with it. But mentor. Have a mentor. They come in all over the place. A yoga teacher, a triathlon coach, a boss, maybe a spouse, maybe a good friend, just all kinds of stuff, right? Maybe something unexpected, like something that you would have judged negative. That can be a mentor too. Someone that is kind of pushing the box a little bit and giving you honest feedback or making you look at yourself. A mentor. So navigating change with grace, hopefully grace and less road rash. 3 of those things. Part 2 in a couple of days. We'll talk a little bit more about change. There's a fine line between holding on to what you used to know and do and say based out of fear and letting go and moving on. That fine line is hard to find. Discretion. It makes all of this really hard. That's where you have to go back to the essentials, to who you are, your dream board. Hopefully you're meditating and you have a good amount of discernment on when you need to stick and when you need to change. Because sometimes we leave a lesson and we just get it again because we backed down from it. We let fear take over. We let the uncomfortable feeling take over. Or maybe we weren't with the right mentor in order to help us learn the lesson. Okay. Navigating change. Part 1. What's on my heart? Namaste, folks.